Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, may I have your attention, please? Are you ready to engage in a mind-blowing experience and hear talks about life, technology, entertainment, and business? The next episode of HIPTHER Talks starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hello, good morning, good day, good evening, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of HIPTHER Podcasts. Today we're going to talk about how iGaming is adapting to the same direction that computer games did, or if is iGaming adapting the same direction, switching from solo experience to a more social one. And we have today with us Michael Pedersen, Chief Commercial Officer at Livespins iGaming. Hi, Michael. Please tell us a little bit more about you, about your company, and what is this all about?
Hey, Alex. Thank you for having me on. This is so exciting. I'm Chief Commercial Officer at Livespins.com. To answer your previous question, yes, I'm obviously heavily biased, but I strongly believe that the iGaming industry overall will learn from the computer game industry and become, a more sort of social, a more group experience, a more connected experience over time. I guess part of the reason I believe that is, the computer game industry that has taken that shift, and that's effectively what the generations are, especially millennials and Gen Z, that's what they're used to now. That's what they grew up with. That's what they're experiencing, and they're also experiencing the same sort of digital shared experiences now if they use Apple products, if they use Disney Plus, the rise of Discord and communities, they're all pointing in the same direction, that you have your tribe, you have your topic, you have your theme that you're interested in, and you're looking for like-minded people to connect with and have an experience with. So I think the world is moving in that direction, and I think the iGaming industry needs to pay very close attention to that trend, or seriously risk taking the risk of becoming irrelevant over the next 5 to 10 years if we don't start catering for that kind of entertainment experience. So yeah, that was a long intro, Alex. Apologies for that, but I'm very passionate about this topic.
Oh, that's cool. So what you're saying is that in the future we can expect an MMOIG type of game, like MMORPG, switching to the iGaming. Do you see that this would be the most beneficial transformation and the most beneficial direction?
Yeah, I think there are many different types of players, right? And this product will, this type, this vertical, whatever you want to call it, will not be for everyone, right? I mean, there will be still VIP players or older demographics or whatever it may be that do not resonate with that product experience, and they want to continue, with solo sessions and not having a streamer or a host sort of, communicate with them. Some people will see that as annoying, right? But so I think it's a matter of catering to the different player segments, being aware of the different player segments, being aware of the, how these, generations or segments grew up. What do they see around them, and how do they go through their day to day and cater to that. And I really think we still have a long way to go in iGaming when it comes to these more interactive and engaging experiences.
Mm-hmm. So at this moment, do you believe that the online casino play is currently shifting from solo activity to multiplayer entertainment?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this shift has been happening over the last 5 years, I would say. I mean, I personally started a casino operator brand called Let's Bet in 2017, which was built around that hypothesis that people want something more social. They you know, there's the isolated solo experiences. It's just not going to cut it anymore. It's too monotone, and there's definitely a significant segment of players that want something more. So that's when my journey started, and I think probably back then it was probably a bit too early, a bit too niche, but I'm 100% convinced, Alex, 2022 is the year of social shared experiences within the iGaming industry. It's not only Livespins, right? There's other B2B providers or B2C operators that are innovating and going along the same trend, going along the same path. And as I said, it's also outside of the industry going in that direction. So there's a lot of arrows pointing in the same direction. So I'm extremely bullish on this in the very near future.
Mm-hmm. Now, Michael, I have a trick question, but in the same time,
I love those. Those are my favorites, Alex.
It's a question that it doesn't have a right or wrong answer. So the question is, what is driving this shift? And my addition to the main question is, what is driving the shift? The customer and the social need to switch to multiplayer, to a more social engaging experience, or the opportunity from the industry's point of view, just the fact that this hasn't been explored yet? What's your point on this?
I 100% think this is consumer driven, and the industry trying to adapt. It's not us creating the trend. We're trying to respond to the trend. Mm-hmm. It's obviously significantly accelerated due to the pandemic, right? So I think, you know, at least myself, and I would imagine a lot of others are sort of fed up of the isolated experiences, because we have been living a quite isolated life for 2 years now. So obviously this has accelerated it. And I think we're trying to, you know, pre-pandemic, it was sort of like, okay, if you want to be online, it's like 95% done in isolation or on your own. And if you want a social experience, you would go out in real life, right? You would meet up with friends or go out to a cafe or go to the cinema. I think now what we're trying to, or what we're, you know, getting better at, cracking the code, is that sort of the place in the middle where it's still a digital experience, but we're marrying that up with the physical social experience to come out with this new product in the middle. For example, Disney Plus is doing a group watch. So it's a digital format. It's a streamed video. It's streaming out into, you know, your living room. You don't need anyone else, but they're building this group watch so you can sit in 20 different living rooms. You can have your own bucket of popcorn, right? You can stream the same movie at the same time, and while streaming it, send emojis to each other or send comments. Wow, that was cool. Or did you see that effect? You know, did you notice the Easter egg in the background, or whatever it is? So you sort of, it's digital. You do it on your own, but you have a feeling of togetherness, or you're through a digital format. So I think that will that trend will continue. I think we will get better at it. I think this will only continue to grow. I think this is going to be a big space.
I'm really curious but I know we cannot know, and it's just assumptions, but I'm really curious if the technology would have existed in the era of internet cafes. If this kind of technology existed, what would be the feeling? Because I do remember from years ago when I was going to internet cafes, we were going there because we played games. We needed to socialize, but we needed to socialize physically to be even though we were playing and we were basically having a digital experience in the same time that we were physically next to each other. And I just can't stop thinking about how would that be if this kind of technology existed. And since we're talking and we started this parallel with video games, if we are looking to the video game industry, we basically saw that the same process happened. Games developing from solo experiences, from solo gameplay to a more and more social experience. We know the good and the bad. What lessons do you think that we can learn from the video gaming industry going on this road?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great question. I think, being a father of two, I think the first thing I would think about is better parenting and sort of raising your kids with a strong backbone and being able to handle trolling and all sort of the negative behavior that happens online, unfortunately, more and more. But apart from that, I mean, I think what can we learn? I don't know. I mean, it's to be honest, I think there's. I choose to focus on the positives here. Both my own kids and also younger people that I know that play Fortnite or whatever computer game. I mean, they can't even imagine the old days anymore when it was done in isolation. It's like it's a space where they can either meet with their buddies and their friends and say, hey, let's play this game at that time, and they meet up. And also very often it's I'm speaking to whatever Peter. Okay, who's Peter? I met him through Fortnite or whatever. I said they learn new connections. You find other people who also likes your favorite game, or now your favorite slot, or your favorite poker game, or whatever it might be. So I think there are a lot of positives. Of course, you need to build it in a clever way. Have moderation, have whatever technical tools you can build in for profanity filters and what have you. So I think let's learn from that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm positive. I think it will make the world a better place overall, to have these experiences, especially when something like the pandemic hits, right? You have some entertainment options that you can do with others, although you're doing it digitally and from home.
I have sort of a fun fact on this. It may be due to the overlapping with the pandemic situation, but I see a really funny difference between nowadays and the trends that we're talking about that are happening right now compared to what was happening before. Before you had your own, let's say, database of actual friends, actual persons that you knew, and you tried to convince them, or we tried to get a common game to play. But now it seems that it's happening a little bit in reverse. You play your game, and from that game you discover new people and you make new connections, and it's really funny to see how basically the result is the same. A bunch of people playing the same game that they like, but you start off with a huge number of people playing a small number of games. And now it seems that you start with a lower number of friends and connections playing the game, but that goes up as much as you play the game. So it's a really funny perspective.
I love that perspective. So if I understood you correctly, what you're saying is in the past, we would team up with our friends and try and find a common passion or topic.
Yeah.
But now, thanks to the internet and thanks to all these tools out there, we can start with our passion, and from that we build our network of friends that all love the same stuff as we do, our own tribe, right?
Exactly.
I think that for me, that's like, I almost get goosebumps. I think that is the coolest thing ever, that people can actually, in this day and age, double down much more on their passion. Even if you choose the most niche thing you can possibly think about, if you're into, I don't know, collecting rocks. Let's take a crazy example, right? Through the internet, through Discord, through whatever, you could probably find, 1 million people around the world that this is just their biggest passion ever. And you can start building a network of friends based on that. I think that's so great. And you know what? There's also so many tools that can help you monetize that passion, whether it's a podcast or merchandise or an online training course or whatever it might be. That again, think about 20 years ago or older. If you wanted to make, you had to consider the financial aspect. The good old parents. Yeah, I know you like singing, but you are never going to make money from that. So please become a lawyer or an accountant or whatever the advice from our parents was, right? Those days are over, because you can monetize and find a way of funding something that you're truly passionate about. And I think that's, speaking about technology enabling the world and bringing us, positivity. I think that's such a good example of that. Like you can make a living and meet friends based around your passion.
Yeah, that's correct. Now, you mentioned monetizing. Do you think that the iGaming industry is doing enough to adapt and basically capitalize the change, the need of change in the consumer preferences? I mean, is it keeping up with this desire and this trend to expand to multiplayer?
In my opinion, no. I don't think we're doing enough. I think it's a general problem that we have in our industry, that we are a little bit too slow to innovate. And the good old saying, yes, we're in gambling, yet no one really wants to make a bet or sort of a significant, bold bet on new technology. So it's we speak a lot about, is it incremental innovation, or is it sort of really disruptive, revolutionary innovation? And sadly, what I see across the industry is 8 out of 10 times it's incremental innovation. And there's definitely a place for that. It's not that it's right or wrong, right? It's just, I would just like to see, I would hope more would dare to jump on the radical innovation and putting stuff out there that really is different and really changes perspectives and serves as motivation for others as well. So I think as an industry we can do more here. We like to tell ourselves the story that we are the tech pioneers and we're the forefront of the industry and stuff like that. But when it comes to walking the walk, in reality, I think we could do better. I honestly do. I think more people should trust their gut, trust their instinct, make the leap, go all in and see what happens. And I really welcome that.
What do you think that presents the biggest risk if the industry fails to provide in offering interactive experiences?
I think the generations that have grown up with this way of consuming entertainment, it's only going to become a bigger and bigger chunk of the industry's revenue and database effectively, right? So if we do not adapt and cater for that segment of players, which is now significant, the whole online gaming experience will become fairly dull and boring entertainment compared to what you experience outside of the industry. Of course, there's the money element, the hardcore gambling element that you don't find in other entertainment industries necessarily. So it's not that it's going to go away, but I think it's more the size of the wallet. If a consumer is spending €100 a month on entertainment, how much of that is going to play slots games versus computer games versus whatever, Apple, Disney Plus, physical entertainment. I think it's more that I would be concerned about, that the iGaming share of that consumer wallet will only decrease because the alternatives are getting better and better and are getting more and more engaging and attractive options for the consumer. So it will always be there. It will always remain. I don't think the industry is going anywhere. But I do think that's a significant risk that the overall share of wallet that goes into iGaming will start diminishing if we don't adapt in a better way to those entertainment trends.
Mm-hmm. Now, speaking of you mentioned wallets, and I have a personal curiosity on I think what is preferred in the iGaming industry: 1,000 players spending $1 or one player spending $1,000.
10 players spending 100.
That's ideal.
Exactly. I don't know. Depends on their source of wealth and whether they can afford $1,000, right? No, I don't know. I think if we take it into sort of the general trend and direction of movement for the industry, there's no doubt that we're heading towards more casual play, more entertainment focused play, and in general moving away from VIP play and a few players delivering a significant portion of the revenues. I think that's driven by regulation, and with that, providers and operators adapting to that. I think that's a really healthy trend. I think that's absolutely the right way to think about it. And again, gaming has to be an entertainment choice, just like any others that are sustainable and that you could do long term. And I think any operator or provider, for that matter, should always prefer having players that has a fantastic experience and wants to come back more often. But when they come back, it's 10 euros here, 20 euros there, something that is very affordable and enjoyable for the player. I think that's in everyone's interest. So if you put it at the extreme, I would rather have 1,000 players spending $1 each, for sure. But hopefully there's a happy medium.
Okay, so thanks for clearing this. It was just a personal thought. I was really like, how is this? Because I know that this kind of input about customers and spendings and budgets and wallets are quite different from industry to industry, and I was really curious how things are looking from your perspective. Now, can you give me a good example of how multiplayer interactive experiences can be provided within the online casino environment?
Yes, but you're asking the wrong guy here, Alex, because I'm obviously highly biased towards Livespins. So let me give you.
I asked for a good example, not for an objective one. So
okay, fair enough. No, but look, from the day I saw the Livespins product, I was sold. I think Robin and Chris and the gang have really cracked the code here with Livespins. So watching casino streamers is increasing and growing by the second, and is ridiculous amounts. I think was it 280 million hours consumed on the slots category of Twitch in the last 12 months, and it's doubled in size in the last year on year. So it's only going one place, and that's up and towards the right corner of the chart, right? So this is just the way consumers, or a lot of consumers, more and more consumers, critical mass consumers, now like to consume their entertainment. And what Livespins solves effectively is, instead of just passively watching a streamer on your phone or on your desktop, you can now join the ride, right? You can bet behind and participate in that together with the streamer, and together with 50, 100, 500, 1,000 players on your side as well. All in all, creating this sort of engaging group experience, like we spoke about, all gathering around something they're passionate about, something they find enjoyable, entertainment, and having like-minded people around them doing exactly the same. So, I personally think, obviously heavily biased, that's a fantastic product. And I think, from judging from all the interest we're getting from both providers and operators, clearly we're not the only ones thinking this. So that's just one example. But like I mentioned, there are many others, joining the same sort of trend. And we love that. The more the merrier. It's not, for us, it's not competition. For us, we're all coming in with our own spin on it, our own angle, but we have all seen the same sort of light, that that this is where we're going, this is where we're going now, and we need to start catering to this. So the more jumping in the same direction, the more people will pay attention to this trend, and I think that will serve the industry overall.
Do you think that this could be happily integrated and mixed with what's happening on the Metaverse side of things? Do you think that the availability and the direction would allow iGaming to develop on interactive virtual reality, augmented reality side? Because when we speak about video content, like streaming or uploading video content on platforms, there's, from my point of view, there's just as much as you can go. Like I just researched the numbers a bit, because I knew it was tremendous, but actually on YouTube there are uploaded about 30 years of video content each day. So
that's just mind-blowing.
It's getting infinite. And I was wondering, in terms of video content, there's a cap that audience can watch and people can engage with. And I was wondering if the next logical step would be augmented virtual reality kind of development. Do you think that it's going in that direction?
100%. There's no doubt, if you take it, 50 years, 20 years into the future, we will for sure be spending, 50% of our time inside something virtual. Call it whatever you want, Metaverse, whatever will happen in the future. There's no doubt that's the direction of travel. The question is, how long will it take us to get there? And what do we need to solve before it will really become an enabler and critical mass and a place where we will spend a significant chunk of our life, right? So again, right now, it's still super early days for Metaverse. You depend on a headset, and although that has improved significantly, you're not going to walk around in the street with your headset on, right? And even at home, there's a limit to, a couple of hours, maybe two or 3 hours. You can comfortably wear a headset now. So you're starting to get the applications of, you can actually have a meeting together, a brainstorming meeting where you're together with your colleagues, and you can do that in a good way. You can whiteboard, you can do all that sort of stuff, right? But let's call it the outside of work application and outside of that sort of 2-hour boundary of time, that transition, I don't think will happen until we we get rid of the headset and we get to the place where, either glasses are working in a really good way. I know, Ray-Ban and Facebook and are collaborating, and they're working on that, right? But it's still not there. I asked myself the question, would I wear it? And the question is still no. So, and even further, we need to get to the stage where it's a contact lens, or potentially in the future is Elon Musk's Neuralink. If you've seen that with the box you get in your skull connected directly to your brain, right? So it's coming for sure. The question is the timeline and what do we need to solve in the meantime in order for that sort of consumer adoption to happen and reach mass,
Okay. And I have another peculiar one that, everything is trending towards digitalization. Everything would be on screens, on devices, virtual or not. What would, let's say, 20 years for now, what do you imagine would be the alternative that for people that are, because everything being on a screen, it creates a fatigue of some sort. Like everything is digital, everything is interactive, everything is lights and screens. Yeah. What do you think that a good alternative would be to that?
Yeah. So first of all, I said 50% of our time maybe we will spend in the metaverse, right? So the other half of our time, I'm still extremely bullish on the physical, real world experiences. I actually think as much as the pandemic has accelerated digital adoption, it has definitely also, at least for me and sort of, the people I speak to, created that longing for, the basics, right? Dinner parties with 6 of my friends coming over to my house, right? I think that will come back in a big way as soon as COVID is over. Going to the cinema, I think, these physical experiences, even though you can stream at home, that's great. It's still not the same as getting your popcorn, your nachos, having the conversation with whoever you're going with. And then, once the movie is over, hey, shall we just go for one drink? As in those conversations, right? So I think it will be both. We will double down on the digital, but we will also double down on the physical. That's what I would like to believe, at least. I think we have the need for both, and the digital will never, I say never, but in my lifetime at least, will not replace the physical. I think we will do more of both, and we will have that sort of half and half life. I think what you mentioned, the augmented reality space, I think is really interesting, where, we're already doing it, right? I mean, this is what Elon Musk keeps saying all the time, right? We're already doing it. We have our mobile phone in our pocket, which is we're already connected. It's just a device we're holding in our hand instead of a wire connected to our brain or a contact lens or whatever it is, right? So you have access to that data. You have that layer you can put on top of reality. And I think we will be much smarter at solving that. So you're going to get rid of the mobile device soon, and it will just be somehow integrated into your field of vision or your ability to hear sound. You can enhance it. You can you can get information. You can add entertainment. You can all these kind of things. I think the augmented reality space is super interesting. I can't wait to see where we will go with that in the future.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that as well. I'm really curious about all this kind of stuff, and I'm usually the one that says, "Oh yeah, let's try this."
Yeah.
So, what opportunities do you think that providing and creating this kind of experience for consumers would present to operators and suppliers? What opportunities that don't exist at the moment?
So Look, I think it's. I mean, I like the idea of the metaverse and having a casino inside the metaverse or whatever it might be. There's no doubt that that's going to eventually reach mass, and if you can have that experience in a good way digitally, where it's not inconvenient, you don't start sweating because you're wearing a headset and all these kind of. But if you can sit in your living room in a comfortable chair with a cup of tea or a glass of wine or whatever you want, and you can be transported into a physical casino where you will meet up with the other friends and it will feel like they're right next to you. And you can do that in a comfortable way, sit at a roulette table or play slots or whatever you like doing. I strongly believe that will be a very viable entertainment product in the future. And we're not there yet. And it's not necessarily because the industry is not ready for it. I think, like I said before, I think it's more the device side of things that we need to solve first. And a lot of people are not jumping ship because until that is solved, they don't see it as a viable and a feasible, business strategy, rightfully so. So you shouldn't innovate just for the innovation's sake, right? It has to be linked to a business impact and something that will affect your top and bottom line as well. Otherwise, you're just innovating for the sake of innovating, and why would you do that?
Correct. So we are running out of time. So is iGaming adapting to the same direction that computers games did? Yes. I would be really curious to look at this or to hear this podcast, I don't know, 5 years from now, and to see what issues did we tick, and if they developed in the same direction that we talked about.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Michael, for joining us. I'm gonna give you the opportunity to close this podcast with your thoughts, your conclusions, your ideas on this subject. And thank you again to all our listeners tuning in from whichever platform do you prefer.
Thank you, Alex. No, yeah, pleasure being on the podcast together with you. I think you guys are doing tremendous work and a lot of good content coming out of you guys. So well done. Look, I think this decade is going to be transformational for iGaming, both by way of products, both of the social stuff, also just as the regulated markets around the world significantly increases, US opening up, India opening up, Latin America, the whole world is soon regulated or accessible in a legal way. So look, I've been in the industry for 15 years. It's been a tremendous ride. I can't wait for the next 10 years to pass. There's so much cool stuff coming up. Both innovation-wise and distribution-wise, and as just watching the industry mature and moving from cowboys and Indians to a much more structured and innovative and corporate place. So I think, it's such a fun industry to be part of, and I think, Alex, we should do one when we turn 70, and I still think I'll be engaged in iGaming because I'm just so passionate about it. I love it. So yeah. That's all from my side, Alex. It's been a pleasure being on.
Thank you very much, Michael. Thank you, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and to our platforms. You can find anything on HIPTHER.com/podcast. Stay tuned and take care, guys.
Thank you for joining. Be sure to check back next week for the next HIPTHER Talks and subscribe on Amazon Music, Overcast, Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Mixcloud, and Pandora.